Right, so while we're out, a few people have asked us, so we said we might tell a story of how we met, sort of where we met, and why we met.
That's a long story.
So I'm going to try, because I waffle too much, Sandra. I'll let Sandra start this story, and she can explain a little bit about her, not full background, but her background prior. Well, let's go from when Hannah was born, sort of thing, isn't it? So I'm not Hannah's dad, so lots of people think I'm Hannah's dad. So I brought Hannah up as my daughter, and she's exactly the same age within a couple of months of Lucy, who is my daughter. So even though you'll always hear me refer to Hannah as my dad, as my dad, daughter, my daughter, then she's saying me, her dad. So go on, Sandra, over to you, and then you can explain a little bit about what was going on, and then how you found the love of your life. You have no idea how much I love you, Sandra.
Oh, we're still being nice.
Oh shit!
Okay.
Got no idea how lucky you are. You've got no idea how lucky you are that you found me on that night and in that way.
So I got to the start of, maybe I should wait until that plane's gone, possibly. But anyway,
Okay.
Various reasons that I won't go into. I ended up on my own when Hannah was still very little, and it was quite challenging because around the same time my dad died as well, so then my mum was on her own. I was on my own with a very young Hannah, so it's quite a challenging time. But anyway, that doesn't really matter too much. But I got to the point by the start of 2006. I've been on my own for 3 years by then, and when you're on your own with a little, and it's not exactly easy to get out and socialise. But I had one of my, I can't swear though, so how am I going to explain this? I had one of my, what Neil calls one of Sandra's something moments.
Yeah, fuck it.
Well, I wasn't going to swear on camera.
Well, swear a day.
So I was like, around that time, Friends Reunited had got quite popular, so I'd got in touch with some old school friends through Friends Reunited. And then there was a school reunion, but then I was quite not in a great place at that time, so I didn't really feel comfortable.
We've actually got a Robin watching us. We're off camera. There's a reason Robin's watching us. There's an actual Robin here. Yeah, go on, sorry.
Anyway, so I ended up not going to the reunion, to be honest, because I just didn't really feel comfortable going. But then about that time, Friends Reunited also brought out Friends Reunited Dating. So I had my something it moment. I thought, well, I was a bit fed up being on my own, so I thought, well, I'll have a look and see what's out there. And well, anyway, so Neil's profile popped up.
You were searching for what sorts of men were you looking for, Sandra? As a single lady with a young child, you could put search criteria. So the internet dating was new around this time. This is now very early 2006, wasn't it?
Yeah,
literally this time 2006.
Lots of dire warnings that you might meet a murderer or something like that. It's just like, but I was like, give it a whirl. And I took precautions like you're supposed to and everything. But anyway, so
What were you searching for?
Well, it was just
all right. What age group?
Well, similar age to me.
Okay.
Not the other side of the country, because I couldn't be doing with all that. Finding someone like thousands of miles away, and just didn't want another distance relationship or anything. So it's like, I think, yeah. You mentioned that you had the shop, and as in my parents were shopkeepers as well. So I don't know. I can't remember now. It was a long time ago. There's a few things anyway, and then we started chatting online.
Hang on a minute. Before we started chatting online, how did you get in touch with me, Sandra?
Oh,
you all want to know how did Sandra get in touch with me? So she's now found me on Frud, Friends Reunited Dating. It was called Frud. So she's now seen my profile, and then this is before phone apps.
This is before swipe left and swipe right or any of that
dial-up.
nonsense. So it was literally on dial-up. So you had to you could if you weren't sure what to say, you could do things like send a wink. So I sent a wink. And Neil replied. And
hang on.
we got
So
chatting.
it started with a wink.
So
Sorry, my glass is dark. I don't know. So the day when I was winking with my left eye and my right eye. So Sandra initiated this, not me.
So you make a big deal about that, but anyway. So.
Well, we need to do a rendition of the Hot Chocolate song, don't we? Do you know what song I'm thinking about?
Well, I believe in miracles.
No. So Hot Chocolate did a song called "It Started with a Kiss," didn't they? So we need to do a rendition. You can do your own version. It started with a wink. So okay, so you sent me a wink,
Anyway,
Sandra.
so I didn't think it was really going to go anywhere. It was just one of my like, what the hell moments. So,
A fuck it moment.
Yeah. So. And I remember you writing to me on Valentine's Day when you just started trying to get elected as a councillor.
I was in full steam. Elections on the way. It was full blown committee.
Out knocking on doors and stuff. And anyway, so we kept chit chatting for quite a while, and then I can't remember. Was it your idea to suggest that we meet up? I can't remember now.
So back in the day, so I was quite lucky. I had a what would you call it? I had broadband back in the day. Sandra was still on dial-up.
Yeah, I do remember because you were still dabbling with building websites at that time, and Neil sent me over a link to one of his websites he was working on. Because I was still on dial-up, all I got to see was a blue circle going round and round and round and round, and my dial-up couldn't cope with downloading this website. I do remember.
So it was relatively expensive. So when you went on dial-up, you were paying for the price of a phone call. And so if you were online for half an hour, it was like making a half an hour phone call at 2p a minute or whatever it was.
Yeah, so I'd like log on once a day at night once Hannah was in bed. And,
so when you can't bear in mind this whole way we are now where you switched on all the time, so it was literally if Sandra sent me a message and I sent her a message back, it'd be 24 hours where she's literally just going online and coming off.
Also I remember that, not to do with our story, but at that time I was lucky if I got 6 emails in a day, and I actually got quite excited when I got emails, whereas now you're like, oh my god, they're all spam as well. You get hundreds of spam.
Emails horrific. Emails are a horrible thing.
Emails just gone the wrong way, but anyway, so what do you remember?
So hang on a minute. So let's carry on. So we exchanged a number of messages, and then I'll go into my background in a minute of where I was back in 2005, 2006, and some of it wasn't in a good place. Anyway, so we then decided, because we've both got young children, we both got busy lives, and we decided to meet, didn't we? So who suggested the place where we met? And it wasn't me.
Yeah, I suggested the first place.
Where was it?
So it's the first place we met without the kids. So we were going for a coffee, as you do.
Oh, sorry, I forgot about this. It's coming back. I know where you are now. Go on.
Ah, so you don't remember.
I do. I'm thinking about the first meal I took you. No, it started
even before that.
Started with a coffee, you're right.
It was February. It wasn't like today. It was cold, it was raining, it was pretty miserable, to be honest. But we had agreed to meet for a coffee in the cafe at Style Mill. In a
public place for safety and things like that, wasn't it?
And I let people know where I was going to be and how long I was going to be there and all of that, like you're supposed to do. So
yeah,
just in case I got abducted.
It's coming back to me. Was it love at first sight, Sandra?
I remember you blushed.
I didn't blush.
You really did.
I never blushed in my inside. Do I look like a blush? I didn't blush.
You did. So I was like, I like Neil, but it looks like Neil might like me as well. I was like, I'm not sure what to do now. So you said you'd like to meet again, and I did the usual, like, I don't know, I'll think about it or something like that. And you looked really sad then. Because we'd only just met, I was like, why me, sort of thing.
I'm spontaneous, mate. You've got no idea, Sandra. You've not got any idea how lucky you were that you met me that day.
Yeah, but you'd already told me you were which is fine. You were chatting with other ladies. I was like, well, it
was complicated at the time. Sorry, it was the end. Yeah,
and there was some lady who brought you flowers, but she was getting in a mood about you being out campaigning or something. I think from memory.
Oh God,
do you remember that?
I do. How did you know about that?
You told me.
Oh.
So I was like, I knew he was seeing other ladies, which is fine because it was only on a dating app, and so it's like, oh,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, I'll try and remember that. So then we had a coffee, we carried on chatting, and then we said we'll go and have a proper, well, a meal, a bite to eat. So who suggested where we went then? I
think that was you, no?
No, it was you. I'm not
Was
too
it me
sure
again?
why you chose it.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, because I used to take Hannah to the runway, like the viewing platform at the runway. It was near the Romper.
It was a romper. Oh,
Yeah,
right,
that's
okay,
why,
right,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. So I noticed that little pub there, so at least it's somewhere that I knew where we could meet.
Right.
I think I'd taken Mum for meals there.
And say nobody comes here, and we've now got some people behind us. We'll be back in a moment. Right, sorry. I'm saying very few people come here, and for some reason it's had a mother and a child who then not only came here, but then proceeded for 5 minutes to stand behind us looking at us. Right, go on, Sandra, sorry.
So you just reminded me another time you wanted to take a picture out in the middle of nowhere, and this man popped up, and then the man said, did we want a picture of us together? And do you know what Neil said? Do you remember? He said, don't tell the wife.
I said I can't have a picture saying because the wife will find out. And this man went, oh, that was Tam. Yeah, I know where that was. Anyway, so you suggested the romper, which ironically enough is only 5 minutes from where we are now.
Not too far, yeah. Yeah, so we had a meal there. That went all right.
You did.
And then around that time, I remember you asking me if I wanted to accompany you to a more formal dinner. Do you remember that?
Yeah, vaguely. I can't remember this post-election.
I think it was before. I'm sure it was before. About April time.
Okay.
So there was like, oh, because like we'd only been corresponding for a few weeks by then. So anyway, I think we did do that. And I'm not sure when that was before or after the election, but I remember, I think I even came to the count in the end, did I?
Yeah.
So that was all quite exciting. And then, when was it we did the first trip? Oh no, that must have been spring. We went to Sefton Park with all the kids.
So Sefton Park was where
that was the first time the
kids met. It was just after the... Oh no, it was during the election.
Yeah, it was during the election.
Yeah,
And I remember Hannah met you at our place.
She did.
And you did the chicken.
I did the chicken, and
the tea-towel chicken.
She was into these things called Scoobies, lengths of plastic at the time. I was doing Scooby magic at the time. So, well, Hannah was fine with me.
So she was fine with you.
Literally, yeah.
We got on well. Hannah and Neil got on pretty well, and then Hannah met Lucy and Lee with Neil, and they all got on really well, didn't they? So,
They did.
So it was a pleasant surprise.
And then I think you sort of moved.
I think, although they were still quite young, I know Lucy's got brothers, but she didn't have a sister. And Hannah was an only, so she would have been happy with any siblings, but especially getting a sister. I think it was very nice for them.
So Hannah and Lucy are both millennium babies.
They're both still quite close, aren't they?
Yeah, they're still incredibly close. I mean, you would not, like many of you watching this would not realise Hannah was not my daughter. And many people have always said, God, Lucy and Hannah, you can tell they're sisters. And they're a similar build, they're slim build and everything about them, isn't it?
Yeah, we've even been to weddings where people, family members thought they were sisters as well.
Yeah, which is nice. You know, there's, again, we didn't need to reveal some of this detail, but we just thought, because I know you out there, I know you like to be a bit nosy and find out, but yeah.
But so, at the end of the day, I mean, your family's what you make it.
Yeah.
I think from early on we both said, I said, I'm not messing around here. If we do it properly. We get married, the works and everything, or we don't.
Well, I was still married.
Eh?
I was still married. I'm not. You're not got my side of the story at this point in time.
You were divorcing.
No, I wasn't. Oh, you were with me. No, I wasn't.
You were in the process.
I was.
So.
Right. Saying nobody's about. It's the
wonky.
first day of sunshine for weeks. Right. So yeah, I was still married.
Before you carry, what I was trying to say was, as far as things went, we both agreed that we were going to do it properly, get married and everything, at least as far as I was concerned. And with the kids, it was important that we both felt it was important that we treated all of them as our own, all 4 of them. And I think that's worked pretty well on the whole.
I'm such a romantic. Oh, no, you've not got any idea how romantic. No, nobody out there's got any idea. You only see a little bit of me on camera.
Right, it's always a bit of a worry when you've got kids and how it's going to work out for the kids.
So we all
get a new partner, you know. So I think that was important to both of us that all the kids were okay with it as well.
So the kids were all fine, and I think you actually moved in with me that August. So we met in the
autumn, but
January, February, whenever it was, right at the beginning of 2006, 18 years ago. So we'll be coming up to our 18th anniversary soon, won't we, when we met? What day was that, Sandra?
The day that we met, or the day
The date.
that we first met?
Yeah.
I'm not sure on that.
We're both rubbish on that. Anyway, but...
It was February, but I haven't got a date.
So Sandra, then we moved in together.
In the box, sorry to interrupt, but in the box I did find, I did keep some copies of your original emails.
Oh, shit.
So they might be making an appearance at some point.
Oh, I don't know what to say. Anyway, let's swiftly move on. So Sandra moved in 2006. So this stage, I was still. So I'm not explaining my circumstances yet. I was back living at the flat above the shop, at BT Photographic, and I was getting a house ready where we're living now, which is my dad's old house. I'm going to give you some details in a minute. And then I had Sandra, so that's up. Should have brought the other tripod.
Tilt it forward just a fraction so it's going to stable.
Right, sorry. Random man walking his dog right behind us. Where was it then?
You were living above the shop.
Living above the shop, yeah. I was getting a house ready, which I'll come to into a minute, to where we're living now. And then we decided to get married in the March of
Following year.
2007. So it was quite a short... Yeah. Were we courting?
Well, there you go, or you don't at a certain point.
Well, people don't court anymore, they date. We courted.
We got engaged.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We don't go into that. So we then got married in the March, and the rest has been pretty well history. We've had our ups and downs, loads of them, haven't we? But here we are, some 18 years on, and still together. You still love me, Sandra?
Of course I love you, dear.
Yeah, and as I say, so we never mentioned Simon. My eldest son was obviously introduced into the flock as well. But what we also did was, once we were married, and this was quite a big thing. So Hannah is Hannah Taylor, not Sandra's maiden name. So you got a name change on deed poll.
Yeah, by her choice.
Yeah, so Hannah wanted to be a tailor. So it just makes life so much easier, and we were all tailors and everything. We were tailor-made. Simple. So with myself, I won't go all the way back, but Sandra's actually my third wife.
So you're lucky I stuck with you.
Look, went past 7 years with you, Sandra. So I've been married 3 times. And back in, without going into, I've had a very complicated life, very complicated. But back in 2005, I was obviously with my second wife. I found out some things about some other things, and she wasn't having an affair or anything like that. But I won't go. It got complicated. It got quite serious, and we split. To cut a very, very long story short, I won't go into it. So that was in 2005, summer 2005, something like that. At that point, I was quite heavily involved in politics. very heavily involved in politics, and basically I lost a bit of my direction because I just thought I'd be married for the rest of my life with this second wife, and then I ended up in this sort of bit of a wilderness, but really busy. My business was really everything was mad busy. It was just incredibly busy. I mean, I can't explain how busy my life was. So I'm guessing it would have been November, December, around that period. I can't remember. I was also on Friends Reunited, and then I joined FRUD. And it was an interesting way to meet the ladies. All the ladies. If you put a finger on it and all that. Anyway, and then Sandra sort of came along with this random wink. And again, I am at this stage now, up to here with everything what's going on. I had gone through this split. I was still seeing Lucy and Lee twice a week, my children. Sorry, Simon was from my first wife as well. So this is really complicated because Simon was younger and keeping it all together. So responded to Sandra, and as she's explained, we plodded along, and then I got myself elected in 2006. And in the whole of the country, if my memory serves me right, there's only 4 Conservatives got taken out that year. I'm going to go into politics here, and I took one out, and it was an unexpected win, wasn't it? It was like, how on earth have you won that seat? It was like, it was an unbelievable moment, taking a very safe seat from somebody else.
If you put it in context, one of the other seats, either at that time or soon afterwards, was held by the then in power lead of the local Conservative Party council group. So that's how safe they thought it was, and Neil took one of them.
Yeah, three counts. So I think the first I took it by 47 votes. Then I had to have a recount, and then I think it went to 76 votes from memory, something like that. And they said we still want another recount. So the vote had now gone up, and I think the third count, I think I've gone up to 101. I said, "Bring it on, guys! Every time we have a recount, I'm winning even more." And anyway, so we ended up on that whole path and very busyness and things like that. And then, as I say, I ended up getting divorced. That sort of summer, and then the other thing that also happened, I think the summer of 2006. I can't remember the exact date. So I was in a partnership with my business, and digital photography was coming in, so it's photographic, and I could see changes were happening. Our film intake, the amount of films we were processing on a daily basis for the first time ever, were dipping, and the market was changing, and I'm working very long hours. My business partner, who was my brother-in-law, married to my sister, was more doing accounts. He wasn't involved in the direct business, and I'm skinny now, but I was extremely skinny,
dangerously thin.
But if I'd had blood pressure test done then, it would have been not good.
I mean, I managed to pick a quietish moment and sat Neil down that summer, and I said, "You're doing all these things, you're going to end up having a heart attack or getting seriously ill. You need to really think about it." So you did think about it, didn't you?
So I've now got elected. I'm heavily involved in politics. I'm on a committee for this, I'm on a committee for that, I'm on a local group for this, I'm on a local group for that, I'm doing a park group, I'm out every night in meetings. Literally, it was relentless. I mean, it was absolutely relentless every single night.
On top of the business, it was just too much.
So one day, Sandra come home and said, I've dissolved my partnership. And I had a brand new car at the time and a good income coming in, and
and your family blamed me and said that I'd made you do it, which is just not true at all.
So I'd severed the business. Sandra this time was working part-time as a childminder on a very small, minute wage. Hannah was 5, I'm guessing 5, 6, like something that's in that region. And then we were chatting with Sandra, and Sandra was going on about her academic background. Is that right?
Yeah, so basically, we muddled on for a few months, and then I had another one of my
fuck it moments.
Thing it moments. And so, well, actually, Neil's around to help with the kids now. I've got this previous academic career. Why don't I see what? So anyway, so I literally got up at 3 a.m, having one of my like ka-ching moments at 3 a.m, as you do. Had a look, and there was a job going with one of my old bosses at the university. So anyway, so I said, well, might as well put in an application, and got the job.
So Sandra went back to work full time. Must be going now.
We did need the money really at that point.
Yeah, so I was getting a small income.
So it meant you could still do your counsellor role and your part-time and voluntary stuff,
which was a lot,
and look after the kids.
So this must be about 15 years ago, I'm guessing now, 16 years ago. So I ended up becoming the house husband, for want of a better word. I obviously brought Hannah up as a dad, but obviously I took Hannah to school every day, picked her up after school every day, and for several years until Hannah went to big school.
So it was usual. Whenever you split, always was a horrible split arrangement, custody thing going on in the background. So,
yeah.
So we only had her for half the weekends, which is, well, anyway, it was what it was. But we did what we could when we had her with us. So,
So you ended up back full time, and then I ended up going a bit stir crazy because I've always worked, and I don't know. So I had 2 years off without working as such. So obviously I'm still a counsellor, I'm still mad busy, but not working. So I then ended up having the idea, and to bring some extra income in, I need a small part-time job.
You were always looking for small part-time
jobs. So this phase, small part, so I have actually been, Dan from the Travel Trolls, if you're watching this, and so watching Travel Trolls, well, Dan's wants a white coat to become and look through microscopes. I actually had a job title, and this is 100% true. I was a mad scientist, wasn't I?
For a while, yeah.
With a lab coat on, with a big logo on the back. But I was going into after-school clubs, teaching. It was the group's called Mad Science. Google it, Mad Science. I think they're still going. It's after-school activities, and basically with a white coat on, going into schools, doing experiment with kids, and getting kids really excited about doing things to do with science. So I went to schools, and that was incredibly interesting. Not just the job, but learning about children with behavioural problems, going in. I can hear voices. Going into being put into after-school clubs, so the parents didn't have to look after them. So we continue to do that. So, woof. I was
pub bottler upper before that.
Cellarman for it was quite a long time. That was about 3-ish years, something like that. Couple of years at the railway in Hale, where all the celebs drink. So I was there. I've done pet sitting. Done. I've even looked after goats for a living. Goldfish, cats, dogs, rabbits, chickens. Done pet sitting. What other? Then I ended up with Wayne. For 4 years as his PA.
I think that was the longest.
I'm sorry. I worked for 2 care agencies, Compassionate Care and Bluebird Care. That was hard work. That was very rewarding, but very interesting. I could end up back doing care work, but all throughout this whole period, sort of maintained that.
You still had your little website business as well.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm
still self-employed throughout all of this. So I've still got the website company, and obviously the website. Well, I've given up doing it now. There's no money. There's no work. There's no money to be made. But that was diminishing. And then back in 2018, Sandra said, "You're still." Even though you're out of your business, I lost my seat by this stage, but I'm still heavily involved with all these voluntary groups, wasn't it? That had taken over my life. So one by one, I whittled them down, and then sort of one of the reasons for becoming a campsite warden was to get away from Manchester, just to get a Neil fuck it moment, just get away from Manchester, because where we live, especially in Timperley and parts of Oz, wherever we were going, we were recognised. It was like, oh, as a former councillor, and you're involved with this, you're involved with that.
One word that Neil struggled with, I noticed, is just the straight no word. So people take advantage of his good nature and expect him to do all sorts of things for free for charities. which is fine to a point, but it was really taking over the whole family life at one point. And so,
If you want something doing, ask the busiest person you know to do it, and they will do it. And I was one of them people, wasn't I? I'm still too good-hearted.
Exactly. Yeah,
But somebody has mentioned on a comment on a vlog, how or why did you become a campsite warden, which I have touched down on in the past. But I might do a separate vlog because I know we've got new viewers who don't know my journey, because I had a health scare. So sorry.
Anyway,
hang on.
So going back to the original point. So, can you meet someone online successfully? Well, I guess we've shown it's possible.
Yeah.
And so just be sensible, take the right precautions, take your time. But at that time we got some very strange looks. It was sort of like, it was almost not exactly embarrassing to admit how we met, but it was not common and a little bit frowned on.
No. So we met online because the internet was still, Tinder and other the phone apps didn't even exist.
No.
So one of the other jobs I did to earn money, I was a healthy human guinea pig for medical research, which was interesting as well. So I did a bit of that, but I'll hold that for another vlog. But Sandra says Sandra was not like my previous wives, girlfriends, but without going into detail, we're quite opposite. Somebody the other day commented, he said, you two, you're yin and yang.
Well, I'd say chalk and cheese, but yeah, we're very opposites, but it works somehow. So.
Yeah, you'd never in a million years, if somebody said to me before I'd met Sandra I'd meet somebody like Sandra, I wouldn't.
Well, that's why I was surprised at first, because it was pretty clear from getting to know you, I wasn't like the typical sort of lady that you would necessarily take out, shall we say. so
yeah. But there you are, and as I say, here we are. So is this going to be our 19th year coming up, or 18th year?
What, since we met or since we married?
No, since we met. Anyway,
18th, I think.
I think 18. So 18 years. So we've not been together long. We've both got history, and again, Sandra's not revealed everything about her. You've only know about mine from 2005, and run up to that is you could write a book. You could do a feature film on it. But yeah, we made it. Right, that's been a major long waffle. It's about an hour long. Should we say goodbye, Sandra?
Even the sun's starting to go down. Winter suns. Bye.